So the first thing you'll notice is the fact that I haven't posted a video in about 2 weeks. The last video I posted was 3 weeks ago, so I skipped 2 weeks of posting. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing why I took a break from YouTube and kind of going through some of my thought processes and sharing with you some tips that I've come up with for how you can avoid burnout as a content creator. So obviously from the title of this video, you'll realize that we're talking about burnout as a content creator. And this is something that I think is actually quite common. So I really just wanted to have a conversation with you guys because I think it's really important that we have this dialogue. I will say that when I took a break, I was actually pretty surprised by the number of people who reached out to me, checking if everything was okay. I kind of thought that I would be able to sneak away from YouTube without anyone noticing, but I'm really grateful for you guys. But to fill you in, yes, everything is okay. I decided to take a break. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm really big on planning. And I've been doing a lot of planning. At the start of this month, we're in August right now. At the start of July, I planned all of my content for July, August, and September. So you guys will know that I have a ton of content planned. I chose not to post for the past 2 weeks, not because I was burnt out to the point of exhaustion, because that does happen. It was more a situation where I had content. I had actually filmed a whole video and I had edited it. I was just finishing up my editing and I just looked at it and I said, you know what, I don't want to post this. And the reason I didn't want to post it was because I felt like I was getting to a place where I was just posting to post. And this is something I wanted us to have a discussion about as content creators, because we're fed this idea that consistency is everything when you're putting out content on YouTube, on your blog, or on social media. And while I agree that that's true, I also think there's something to be said about just being true to the content that you put out. Because there comes a point where you're just putting out content for the sake of putting out content. You're putting out content just so that you're consistent and you're showing up all the time. And like I said, it's something that it's important. When you are a content creator, you obviously get paid, or your viewership goes up, you're rewarded based on your consistency. So it's really important to stay consistent. But there comes a point where you start to lose and question why you're doing certain things. And that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's video. So in this past week, I've really rested, quote unquote. So I've really not thought about YouTube, just not been on the platform, and just really tried to spend time thinking about how I can come back in a way that I'm able to enjoy content creation a lot more. So I'm going to be sharing 4 things that I've come up with that I think will help you if you're a content creator to reduce burnout. So my first tip to avoid burnout would be to be yourself. And this one is easier said than done because I think when you're online, you automatically put on a persona. But I think it's important to just be as close to yourself as you possibly can. I realized that being in front of a camera in an empty room by yourself is not the most natural thing. And so it can be hard to be yourself. It's definitely easier said than done. But it's really important to just try to stay true to yourself, at the very least. Stay true to your values, stay true to the things that are important to you. And don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be what you see other people doing. And I would say this is something that I think I would say I've done. Because when I started YouTube, I definitely felt like I had to be a little bit extra and be more expressive, when in my normal life, I'm a quiet person. I'm not super expressive. I'm not super outgoing. I mean, I can be in certain situations. When I watch my videos sometimes, I'm like, oh my God, is that what I sound like? But I think that I probably thought that for YouTube, I would have to put on a persona and just be a little bit more out there so that people would gravitate towards it. But I just have to say, you just have to be yourself. You have to be yourself, because when you're not being yourself, everyone can tell. And also, I think it's taken a lot for me to really understand this, that the people who are for you are going to come to you because of who you are. So you don't want to be that person who is one way on YouTube or one way online, and then when they meet you in person, they're like who is that person. It's a lot harder to create content when you're trying to be someone else. You're definitely going to experience burnout when you are trying to be someone else. My second piece of advice for how you can avoid burnout is to know your why. So your why is really the purpose behind what it is you're doing. It just makes it so much easier to go through those hard times, when you're tired and when things don't seem to be working out the way that you want it to work out. When you have a strong why, when things are not going right the way that you want it to go, you're able to push through and you're able to keep going and not burn out as easily. So I would say it's really important to just check in with yourself, know your why, and really just reevaluate that on a continual basis. Ask yourself, am I staying true to my purpose? Am I doing what it is that I set out or intended to do? And so for me, for instance, I realized that even though I knew my why, I wasn't really keeping it at the top of my mind because I started this YouTube channel for a reason. And really what that is sharing my journey as a mother, as a content creator, as an online entrepreneur. And so this video is sort of an introduction into me and into this channel again, because I really want you to understand, what I'm posting and why I'm posting. And of course, if you guys need help in terms of creating content, writing blog posts and things like that, that's my area of expertise. And so that's definitely something that I can help you guys with. So my third tip for how you can avoid burnout would be to think of your content creation from a place of service. So what I mean by this is instead of thinking of the fact that you have to be consistent and you have to show up from the fact that you have to meet your goals or you have to make a certain amount of money or get a certain number of followers or subscribers, think of it from a place of service and really just focus on your audience. I want to show up consistently so that I can provide value to that person who I know really depends on my information and my advice for how they will get through XYZ situation. So there's nothing wrong with chasing goals. Trust me, I'm all for goals. But when you focus so much on your goals and on yourself, it just makes the process so much harder. You're more likely to experience burnout. The next tip would be to don't be afraid to contract out services. And this is a huge one for me because I'm type A personality. I'm the type of person who likes to control everything. I like to micromanage. And so as I'm saying this, I'm definitely saying this to myself because as a creator, there's only so much that you can do. So you really need to understand, what it is you have to do and what you enjoy doing. And don't be afraid to find people who can help you. So if you generally don't enjoy writing blog posts, or if you don't enjoy editing your videos or taking pictures or whatever it may be, don't be afraid to contract out those services. Because if you continue just doing these things, you're eventually going to burn out. And so a place that I always like to go is a website called Fiverr.com. And I've been using this for a couple of years now. And on Fiverr, you'll find freelancers who can do literally anything for you. So if you need a logo design, if you need your thumbnail to be made, if you need video editing, blog post writing, I think if you name it, you'll find it. If you go on Fiverr.com, you'll find freelancers. And the great thing about Fiverr is that you'll be able to find these services for a relatively low cost. And you can shop around, message people, and find the person whose service, you would like. So yeah, I would definitely recommend contracting out services. And like I said, this is something that I'm definitely saying to myself as well. I need to let go. So those are the 4 pieces of advice that I can give you to help make content creation a little bit more enjoyable and hopefully help you reduce burnout. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave a comment and let me know. Also, if you're a content creator and you can relate to any of the things that I talked about in today's video, that feeling of just mental exhaustion or feeling like you just have to keep putting out content for the sake of putting out content, leave a comment and let me know. Let me know what you do when you face those situations. Do you actually take a break? Or do you kind of just work through it? So if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up so that I know what kind of videos you guys are enjoying. And then subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already, because I do post new videos every week. So I'll see you next week where I will be talking about my experiences being a content creator and an introvert. In the meantime, you can actually check out some of my other videos. I have lots of tips and resources for bloggers and content creators looking to stand out online.